So hello friends, welcome to Sync in English, UGC Prep Series, Biological Basis of Behavior, Unit 4 of UGC syllabus. So yesterday we discussed about a few aspects, the outline of nervous system and how the embryonic layers developed into different parts of the brain. And what are the types in the sense like how the nervous system can be understood, peripheral nervous system, CNS. So CNS contains the brain and the spinal cord, and remaining comes under the peripheral nervous system like autonomic nervous system, which includes sympathetic and parasympathetic. Somatic means body nervous system, which organs which goes to different nerves which goes to different organs are involved in the cranial nerves and spinal nerves. And this is a diagram of brain showing two hemispheres. Cerebral cortex would be the youngest one of forming. So we already told that which is oldest one and which is youngest one in the brain when the brain is concerned. So today we'll try to understand about the cell structure and its function, nerve cell. So if you see this, so basically this is a nerve cell. So you need to understand how we study organ systems, then it would be more easy for you guys. So first one, cells. Cells are basic unit. Basic unit of organism, right? And the cells, similar cells put together to form tissues. Similar tissues put together to form organ. And similar organs which has similar function, right? Structurally and functionally, they are commonly called as organ systems. So now we are talking about organ system level, that is nervous system. So this nervous system has got different organs, and those organs commonly perform one single function which this system has. So brain, spinal cord, cranial nerves, spinal nerves, all this comes under organs, and these got certain tissues. So these similar tissues put together to form a similar organ, and these cells, these tissues are formed by the fusion of cells. Fusion in the sense like the similar cells together forms a tissue. So this is a basics, and here the basic unit of nervous system is nerve cell, or otherwise we call it as neuron, neuronal cell. Neuron. So if you see the parts of the neuron, you have got axon. This is called axon. And axon, if you zoom in and see, axon contains axolemma. Axolemma. Axolemma is in nervous system. We call plasma membrane as axolemma. As axolemma. So axolemma will be here and here, where exchange of positively charged ions and negatively charged ions would move from inside out and outside to inside through axolemma. So it is a semi-permeable membrane. It won't allow all type of molecules to pass through. Specific cells would be passed by specific proton pumps. Some pumps will be there, just like imagine you have 4-wall room and there will be one door for it, right? So through the door you will go in and you will come out. So likewise, there are certain channels, we say, and they are made up of proteins, right? So through these protein channels, these ions like sodium, potassium, these guys would keep moving in and out, which makes the nerve impulse possible. So let's see the parts of the neuron. We have different types of neurons actually. One is, sensory type. Another one is motor neurons. And another type is association neurons. So if you see these functions, sensory neurons are, they function to actually they are responsible for carrying nerve impulse from sense organs. For example, eye. So right now you're viewing, you're hearing, right? If you're taking notes, you're able to touch and you're able to get the sense of it. You're totally under control of the brain. The control and coordination through the sensory perceptions is done by the sensory neurons. Motor neurons, in the name itself, is their motor, so movement. So from brain to spinal cord to muscles. So here you can write in this format. Sensory neurons, sense organs to brain, right? And motor neurons responsible for carrying impulse from brain and spinal cord to muscles. So from brain to muscles, muscle tissue. So why muscle? Because muscle is attached to the bones by tendons. And so these tendons would actually, when the muscle contracts, this bone would be keep moving. So right now you can see, my brain is giving a signal to close or open. So the muscles are actually contracting so that the bones contraction is not like muscles. Bones movement, we say, not contractions, but the movements are actually controlled by the skeletal muscles. So that is taken care by the motor neurons. And the third one is association neurons, which are found only within brain and spinal cord. So this is different types of neurons, and let's understand the parts of the nerve cell. So this is what we call it as cell body, and these we call it as dendrites. And here we'll be having synapses. This is called axon. And neurons are different types, like myelinated and non-myelinated neurons. But here, if you see a sheath is there, protective sheath, where signals would jump in this manner fast. So apart from the neuron cell, the cell which is having myelinated sheath would conduct nerve impulse fast compared to the one which doesn't have the myelin sheath. And we have nodes of Ranvier, we have nucleus, cell body nucleus, etc. And you can imagine that this cell body would contain the mitochondria, which is essential for production of energy in the form of ATP. And as I told that this ends of neuron would contain synapses,